What's up, folks? Stu Myrick. Ready for another Sports Guys Talking Wrestling live on a Wednesday. Yes, it's weird. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday night. Normally, you would be hearing the radio show a little later on, but no radio show this week because the Longhorn men's basketball team facing Gonzaga, the number 2 ranked Bulldogs, tonight at the Moody Center. And so that will air on the Horn a little later tonight, actually in about an hour. Tip-off is about an hour. Pre-game is about 30 minutes from now. So, we got Captain Insano. What do you know? And because it is Wednesday night, we have AEW Dynamite on the television, and they're about to do the whole. They're doing they used to call them the captain's matches, but basically it's Anthony Bowens from the Acclaimed taking on Swerve Strickland from Swerve in Our Glory, and we got Paul White in his Captain Insano gimmick from The Waterboy with Adam Sandler. This is the video. Yeah, it's the video. It's the we call it Hand in a Hand or something like that. Anyway, from the Acclaimed. So, hope everybody's having a good week. As I said, we usually stream on YouTube and Twitch on Tuesday nights. And that's the other thing. Justin Simmons had a basketball game to call last night. I assume for St. Edwards. I could be wrong. We'll find out here. He's on his way. He'll be here in a little bit. But he was free tonight. We don't have the radio show, but we do. We're going to do the podcast, and the podcast will be available hornfm.com or via your favorite podcast provider. That's what we're going to record tonight. So Justin will be along shortly. So as I said, AEW Dynamite on the screen right now. We've already had the tag team match, Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson defeating Jericho Appreciation Society's Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Of course, that's before Saturday's 4-way between all 4 of those men for the Ring of Honor World title, which Chris Jericho currently holds. So there was that. And I suspect we'll learn at least a couple more matches during the show. We've got, I think as of right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches that we know. There's also the finals for the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. That'll get decided on Friday. Well, one half will be decided tonight, Ethan Page or Bandito. I'm thinking it's Ethan Page. And I think the other match is Friday on Rampage. And I think Rampage is live this week because they'll be in New Jersey. So we won't have any spoilers or anything like that. But yeah, Full Gear this Saturday. So we'll preview what we know now. If we, as we're doing the show, we got AEW Dynamite on the air. So if we see a match or two announced, we'll add that to the preview. And then tomorrow, I will be part of a media conference call with AEW President and CEO Tony Khan to talk about Full Gear, and I'm sure there'll be a few other topics. And I'll record that, and then it will get posted later, probably tomorrow evening, as a podcast and a video. So you'll be on the podcast page, and it'll be on our YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Anyway, as I said, hope you had a good week. If you're a Longhorns and Cowboys fan, it wasn't a good weekend. Longhorns losing to TCU, just no offense, it's Jekyll and Hyde. I don't get it, but they just could not come up with anything. I mean, they kept TCU under 20 points, and that's been the key this season. They keep their opponents under 20 points, but they just couldn't score. I don't know, and I don't know. Anyway, so Longhorns lost. Cowboys lost to Green Bay. They were up and then let them come back and lost in overtime. So we'll see what Dallas will do as they go from Wisconsin to Minnesota. They're going to face the Vikings on Sunday. So before they come back home on Thanksgiving Day to face the New York Football Giants. As I mentioned, Swerve Strickland and Anthony Bowen's currently in the ring now. Well, now they're outside the ring, but they're battling it out ahead of their tag title match on Saturday, where it will be the Acclaim versus Swerve in Our Glory. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. I suspect that's where we will finally see the breakup of Swerve in Our Glory. So we'll see, and we'll talk about it. Lake Travis won, so Lake Travis continues on in the UIL Texas High School Football Playoffs. They face Cibolo Steel Friday night, the team they lost to in week 2 of the season. Now, that was a loss. It was lost by a touchdown, and Lake Travis had Sam Self at quarterback. Sam Self is their starting wide receiver, and their starting quarterback, Caden Leon, was under concussion protocol after the first week, the game against Arlington Martin. Bo Edmondson wasn't ready, so they had Sam Self, practicing at quarterback. He'd been playing quarterback for all of 4 days, and they lost by a touchdown. So we'll see. Obviously, Cibolo Steel's gotten better through the season. So, yes, Caden Leon will be back at quarterback. We'll see. Luckily for me, that's here in Pflugerville at the field, the Pflugerville ISD Stadium. So, don't have to go too far. What else? So, yeah, we got AEW Full Gear this weekend. Of course, we're also building towards Survivor Series, so we'll talk. And a couple other notes. New Japan's going to start their World Tag League and Super Junior Tag League tournaments on Monday. And so I'll give you the rundown of the teams that will be involved in each tournament. Those tournaments will run concurrently. We've got a new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrus. He defeated Trevor Murdoch and Matt Cardona in the triple threat at Hard Times 3 in New Orleans. That move has been met with some criticism. It seems like Billy Corgan is going for they're going to get more eyeballs because Tyrus is also on a Fox News show. I forget what's the name, Gutfield, I think. Anyway, he's one of the panelists on Fox News. So, and he's been, and he had been doing the show with the World Television Championship belt there. So now, and apparently he did it last night with the World Heavyweight, with 10 pounds of gold. So, I don't know what that means. But oh well. Oh, vicious kick by Swerve to the back of Bowens. So, what else? Got a couple other notes to talk about, and again, this will be this week podcast only. Again, no radio show, so just podcast. Podcast will go up later tonight, so you can get it hornfm.com or podcast providers. We're technically on the air next Wednesday. However, I believe there's a Longhorn basketball game on Monday, so they're moving. Monday nights usually Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis, so that program will move to Wednesday night. And I forget, and I think it goes 2 hours. So that means everything gets pushed 2 hours. So our radio show won't air until 11 p.m. on Thanksgiving Eve. So it will it's technically a radio show week, but it will be a podcast week as well. And we'll preview Survivor Series. So, Bowens with that forearm swerve in the corner. Oh, nice maneuver there. Dropped him. Hooks the leg. And gets 2 count. I hope everybody checked out the Rhodes Wrestling Academy 6th Student Showcase. That premiered on the Rhodes Wrestling Academy YouTube channel this past Sunday. It was a lot of fun to be with Rebel again, to call that show. It's funny, I've done all 6 of the showcases, and each class, and Dustin talks about this, each class has its own personality and their makeup and all this good stuff. I would say this class, I don't know if it has the least experienced. There were a lot of rookies and such, as Justin Smash Simmons comes in. There was only a couple of people with maybe a year or 2 of experience, and a couple that had trained in Texas. One at Dog Pound with Rodney Mack. What's up, Justin?
What's up, Stu?
How are you?
Hanging in there.
I was just talking about the Rhodes Wrestling Academy 6th Student Showcase, which premiered on Sunday.
But when did you actually do it, though?
I did the previous weekend.
Right?
Yeah, we tape it. We always tape it the weekend before. And then
there you go.
Andrew Sanchez, who does the videography, formerly of KVU, now of WFAA in Dallas, he puts it all together and everything. And
that's cool.
Just a fantastic job.
Glad somebody got a promotion.
Yeah. So
big city.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had a blast calling it with Rebel and
not Reba.
No, not Reba. It was a lot of fun though. So I was saying that I think this might have been the class with the least amount of experience. Usually you'll have at least 2 or 3 that have some sort of experience. Last class had Ativalu, who's Samoan, trained by, I think it was Alpha, with the Wild Samoans. And he'd been wrestling for like 9 years. In fact, I saw a picture of him on Ring of Honor.
Oh, nice.
From back in the day. So.
Oh, okay.
But this class, I think it was definitely among the least experienced, more rookies. Had a couple guys that may have had about a year or so in the business.
Had that NXT feel to it, huh?
Yeah, one of them trained with Rodney Mack and Jazz at Dog Pound in San Antonio. So
yeah, but I mean, for how long?
So I don't know. I mean, they may run the same. They may do 12 weeks too. I mean, Dustin runs 12-week camps, so
Oh, I mean, I trained for like a year. year and a half.
Well, yeah, AEW does theirs differently.
Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
I had consistent training as I was working
Yeah.
because I don't know that. I mean, there's two different ways to go
There
about
is.
it.
There is. Dustin does 12-week camps. A lot of that has to do with, some of the fact he's still working.
Well, yeah.
Still working at AEW. So,
But I mean, he also gives you more things with
Well,
it in the sense it's like
they-
not every place is going to get you television ready or at least
Right.
an idea of how to work for TV.
they do a lot of promo classes, talk about working on TV. They even go into like the business side, talk about contracts, how to handle your finances, how to handle social media. It's so yeah. There's, they go into quite a bit. So, it's a for 12. For a 12-week course, they really pack a lot in. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get going with the Full Gear preview as Samoa Joe walks out on the stage. I suspect we will have a match with him. We'll see if they make that official. But let's do a little radio magic.
Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're listening to Sports Guys. Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're... Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, not on the horn this week. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons.
Yeah, he said something about radio magic, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
radio magic?
well, it's habit. We are not on the air this week because of the Longhorn men's basketball game that is airing in about 45 minutes.
It's like we got AEW.
Actually, in about 12 minutes with pregame. Texas men's basketball facing the number 2 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs.
We got AEW.
At the Moody. Yeah, and we're at the Moody Center. And because we're doing this on Wednesday night instead of our usual Tuesday nights, we got AEW Dynamite on the TV. In fact, Samoa Joe talking to Tony Schiavone
I'm
at the
saying
moment.
we got AEW'd.
In what respect?
Like when they get bounced for NBA basketball.
Oh, yeah. Well, it happens. It happens. It's going to happen a few more times. Not too many, luckily.
Don't they already know that this is like the number 1 show and we have other stations they can move that basketball game to? Like the Bat?
The men's basketball is on the Horn and Coke FM. So it's on every station except the Bat.
So
they could move us to the Bat.
I was going to say, I'm sure that they need people to fill time on the Bat.
But then, I don't know. Anyway, I wonder if Eric Rain still does his haircuts at 8.
I have no clue.
He did a show. I can't remember if it was on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, but he did a show called Haircuts at 8. He did hair bands, kind of the local version of Hair Nation on Sirius XM.
Oh, okay. So he was like Eddie Trunk.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
And it's kind of funny. Eric Rains of Coke FM, our country music station, talking hair bands, which I love because I'm an '80s kid. Ooh, we got Powerhouse Hobbs coming out and facing off against Joe, and Samoa Joe attacked Wardlow last week. And speaking of Wardlow, we're waiting. Let's see.
Okay, let's cut to the chase
here
here.
it
Wait.
comes.
Are you
Here it
excited?
comes.
Are you excited about this? Like this, like anything really stand out for this upcoming like Full Gear? As this is the go
it'll
home.
be interesting.
This is the go home show, right?
This is the go home Dynamite for Full Gear. And then we're clearing the locker room because we got the pull apart brawl between Samoa Joe, Wardlow, and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Because Wardlow was extremely hot right after the MJF feud, and then everything kind of cooled down for him. After
He did
that.
cool down a little bit.
Immensely.
They're trying to. Oh, hey, there's Lucas Chase, former Rhodes Wrestling Academy champion. Hey, there's Aaron Solo. So you got the locker room emptied out. Oh, Lucas Chase taking the spine buster. And now Dark Order. They're going to go. We ain't getting in your way. He's off the ropes and boom. Suicide dive over the top rope. All right. I suspect we'll get a match of any combination or maybe all three of them. I don't know if both titles be on the line or. Oh well, we'll see. Speaking of, let's get into our Full Gear preview. It's AEW Full Gear this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Get it on pay-per-view, Bleacher Report here in the U.S. If you're outside the United States, Fight TV, I think something called PPV.com as well. You'll come to us from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. I've been there. They did Media Day for Super Bowl 48.
Oh, okay.
When it was played up there. So
it's nice.
It was kind of crowded. I guess, it was crowded. I remember that. So as of right now, and we're talking Wednesday night at just before 8 p.m. Central, we have 8 matches officially on the card. Let's go. Saraya, the former Paige, is cleared. She can wrestle, and she is going to wrestle Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, on Saturday. Saraya's winning this. You're not gonna have this big build, have her first match back after however many years that she's been out of the ring, and have her take a loss.
But I mean, she is only available once a month or so. So
what do you mean she's only available once a month? What are you talking about?
That's what they've been talking about on social media, that like while she can return, she's not like going to be super active. She can only wrestle about once a month to start.
All the more reason to have her win.
I just don't see it though. Like, I understand it's a big return, but she hasn't really necessarily been booked as a face.
Saraya?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a baby face. You don't hear the reaction of the crowd? Yeah, she's a baby face.
I mean, but for Britt's
a heel.
Yeah.
Now, she's one of those heels that gets cheered, but she's still a heel.
She's like the top women's star in AEW.
Okay, but she's still losing on Saturday.
I just don't think the best wrestler in the division that's active right now
is
going to lose.
You're not making this
Saraya.
Again, you're not building this all the way up for Saraya to take a loss. Saraya's winning. I will put money on it. In a steel cage match. Notice how they now call him Jungle Boy Jack Perry instead of just Jungle Boy.
Oh, which was definitely a nice change.
Yeah. Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage will be lurking.
So is this like the blow-off?
I want to say it is. On top of that, they've had Jack Perry taking some punishment from Luchasaurus. And I think they've had at least one match.
Mm-hmm.
where Luchasaurus got the win. So I'm guessing Jack Perry gets his win back this one.
I mean, the AEW booking's a little different though. Like sometimes they'll carry on the storyline well beyond. I feel that it's like
well, that's the thing. If this isn't the blow off, then yeah, it's I could see it go either way.
So like,
but I think this might be the blow off just because they've been down this road a while.
I know it's
been
a
time,
while.
It's time to blow it off.
But it's all like what comes of it, because I understand that while you give Jungle Boy a name change essentially or addition, it's all like Luchasaurus really is one of those guys that, again, is it ever going to evolve from a guy beyond dinosaur mask?
I don't know. See, I don't know. No,
And-
they're not gonna. No, I mean,
because he can lose this and go crazy, in kayfabe speak, and then like lose the dinosaur persona if he loses this match.
that's a possibility.
But I'm not sure if it's a good thing for his career. I mean, right now he's strictly mid card, if even. So it's just all like, I figured that would be the progression for a guy with his size and athleticism.
Well, but I think they're
Kind of like Tiger Mask.
You gotta remember, Jungle Boy is one of the pillars. He's one of the 4 pillars.
Supposedly.
So I would suspect Jungle Boy gets the win, and they'll insert him into.
It's just like if you're a number
name
one,
the title.
Just because you're a top 10 draft pick in the NFL draft doesn't necessarily mean that you fulfill your, projection.
Right, but
now he's been the lowest performing 4 pillar guy.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And no disrespect to him.
I mean,
I'm just saying
he's got a tag team title reign with Luchasaurus.
Yes.
But I do see where they will, he gets the win, and then.
But all the other guys have been fighting for like single titles, or they've been near the top of the card, and he's been just kind of like in these.
I'm still saying Jungle Boy gets the win here.
I'm assuming because Christian Cage is a part of the feud that it's supposed to be like a high profile thing, but and the promos have been rather vicious, like impersonal.
Yeah, they have.
But
that's sure.
It's still just kind of like, we could have ended this feud a while back. We didn't have to hear any of this, but okay.
Yeah, I agree. As we see the reunited Top Flight and AR Fox. It's good to see AR Fox getting some TV time. He's a hell of a wrestler,
especially on Dynamite.
Yeah,
because I've seen him on.
He was on Lucha Underground. He was on. I won't say MLW. He's
been everywhere.
Yeah,
else, man.
I mean, I saw him up in Dallas a couple times. We chatted for a bit.
He's one of these guys that I'd never really heard of, and then I saw him live at like Wrestle Circus. I think that time he came, and I was just like, man, he's so smooth, and he was just like a really well-rounded wrestler. And I was like, man, I wish I would have found that guy earlier.
Yeah.
But now everybody gets a chance to see what I'm talking about.
Anyway, Top Flight and AR Fox taking on Death Triangle for the trios titles, which Death Triangle is going to win because presumably all signs point to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega returning at Full Gear.
Who's this?
And possibly taking on Death Triangle for the trios titles.
Who's this random person that ran out and started spitting water and stuff on the left?
That's Alex Abrahams's. That's Penta and Ray's manager.
Like in real life or
no, just storyline. But he's been Penta's manager for quite a while actually. So, anyway, in a tag team match, if it wasn't for Darby Allin, I'd say TNA 2007. Jay Lethal with the Last Outlaw. Dustin Rhodes has a big problem with that. Jeff Jarrett tagging together to take on Darby Allin and the Icon Sting.
I mean, maybe, they should have a match before all is said and done.
Who? Jarrett and Sting?
No, Jarrett and Dustin.
I could see that happening soon. I could see that. I could see where Dustin comes out and says, "Hey, hold on, you're not the last outlaw.
Yeah,
I am." Yeah, I could see that. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett taking on Darby Allin and Sting.
I mean,
You can't bet against Sting.
I was like, Sting isn't going to lose.
No, can't bet against him. So I'm taking Darby and Sting in this one. It'll be good to see Jeff in the ring again. He's still got some stuff. Oh, AEW's hitting San Francisco in March.
All right. Darby ever evolved past, the guy with Sting? Because for me, it's felt a little bit like Batman and Robin. It's like, even though,
I get that.
Darby is the future.
And I think they were trying to do that a little bit because Sting hadn't been around the last couple of weeks. And then they inserted him because Jeff Jarrett is now part of AEW. So I got a feeling they're going to try, but we'll see.
But would it evolve them having, when that day happens, how do you foresee it happening? Will one just turn their back on the other and then they have to have a match?
No, I think it'll just be kind of he'll just stop appearing with him. They're not going to turn either one of them heel. It's just not one of those types. You don't have to have someone turn heel to break up a team.
Yeah, but even the Rock and Roll Express have broken up before.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Again, you don't have to. Break up, fine, but you don't have to have one of them turn on the other.
But that's what happened.
No, you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to happen that way.
I've never seen it any other way.
I have. Frankie Zane and Christopher Daniels.
But didn't one of them just retire?
Kind of.
Like in real life? And yeah.
And Sting is semi-retired, so. Anyway, Jade Cargill defending the TBS championship against Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose has been running around with the belt, calling herself the TBS champion, but she is not. It's still not Jade Cargill.
So
Cargill's winning. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, and much as I'm bored with Jade Cargill and the TBS title, it's not going to be Nyla Rose. I don't know who it's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be Nyla Rose.
Oh, no, it's definitely not. Yeah. It's all what was I going to say here? Oh, yeah, so this is basically a Pirate versus Bret Hart situation where he stole the jacket?
Something like that, yeah. Something silly.
Okay. I was I guess they ran out of ideas for Jade Cargill. I mean, who, will she ever be part of the picture going forward after this title reign, for the AEW women's title?
I could see it happening. They got to take the TBS title off of her first.
But the thing is that AEW is a work rate company. At least that's what I gather from the fans. That's what really matters more than the promo skills a lot of times. But she definitely has the whole package. She has the look. I mean, she looks when I think of female professional wrestler.
Yeah, I get that.
She's you couldn't have asked for a better specimen.
Well, and that's fine. Like I said, that's not the issue. Issue is, okay, who takes the TBS title off of Jade Cargill? It's not going to be Nyla Rose.
No.
I don't know who it's going to be. We'll see. We will have the finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. I think one semifinal is Ethan Page versus Bandito, which will happen tonight on Dynamite. I forget what the other semifinal is. That will happen on Rampage Friday night, and Rampage will be live this week since they'll be in New Jersey. So Rampage Friday night, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on TNT. It will be live, so no spoilers. I suspect Ethan Page will be one of the finalists. We haven't seen that match yet, so I can't tell you. In a fatal four-way for the Ring of Honor World title, Chris Jericho defending against Claudio Castagnoli, Sammy Guevara, and Bryan Danielson. Oh, man.
I mean, obviously, I like the lineup for the match.
Yeah, they had the tag match earlier tonight on Dynamite with Castagnoli and Danielson getting the win against Jericho and Guevara. I don't see them taking the title off Jericho just yet.
But I mean, like, him and Sammy have like this running like love-hate relationship thing going on. I was like, I can see him winning it.
Who?
Sammy?
No, because I think they want a little more of Jericho desecrating the ROH legacy and all that good stuff before somebody comes in to save it. And they're not going to, and you're not going to do that with Guevara.
I guess.
So Jericho keeps the title.
But he's already ran through all the ex-champions. It's all.
No, he hasn't.
Who else can possibly step in that isn't named Adam Cole that may or may not be returning to the professional? But Adam he might Cole. Not. But he might not be available.
Right, he might not be available. You got others. But
like,
good Lord, now I got to go through. Well, you got Christopher Daniels. You got.
Don't you want to give it to some up and comer? Like, if they're going to beat Jericho?
Well, and that's the thing. It'll be a former champion of some sort. Now, it could be someone that held a tag title, TV title, 6-man, pure. Could be that. But Jericho's keeping the title. I'm pretty sure of that one.
So I don't foresee Cody Rhodes heading back to AEW anytime soon.
No, he's going after something else. He'll be busy. For the AEW World Tag Team titles, the Acclaim defending against Swerve in Our Glory. Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee. That's got to be when we see the breakup. This will be your textbook. Somebody turns on somebody. You'll be Swerve turning on Keith, and they'll end up losing. Or something will happen which will cause them to lose, and Swerve will turn on Keith.
Okay, so why is it Swerve? Because I felt like it would be Keith.
Because Swerve is the heel. They've been showing the last couple weeks. Swerve's been doing heel. And nobody wants to boo Keith Lee. They don't. They still sing his song.
Okay.
So it'll be Swerve. So the Acclaimed will still be your AEW World Tag Team Champions. Hopefully setting up sometime down the road them against FTR. For the AEW Interim Women's World Title, Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter. There has been a lot of talk about, or I would say a lot of wishing for Jamie Hayter to win that title.
Stu, I've been saying it for like 2 months. Like, they should have put the belt on her a long time ago.
And yet, I don't think they're going to. I say that.
Yeah.
I could see where they do that, and then she goes into somehow gets in a feud with Britt. I don't know though. We don't really know Thunder Rosa's medical status right now. She is still technically the AEW Women's World Champion.
Yeah.
But we don't know when she's coming back.
Which makes me wonder is like, are they just going to get to a point where they remove the interim tag from that title and that is just the new champion? Because that's a possibility. I mean, even WWE will do it from time to time if somebody is just incapacitated to the point where they're going to be out for an extended period. It's just like, I'm sorry, you have to vacate.
Well, and you see it
sucks.
In New Japan all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not fun. I mean, I hate that for any performer.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just all like,
but it's got to happen. I mean, if you don't know when Thunder Rosa is going to come back. Don't know when she'll be able to come back.
There were reports online, nothing I can confirm or anything, but there was talk about her finally being able to jog for the first time since she's been out.
Okay. So, I mean, if that's the case, that's good for her. But again,
obviously she would need to get back into ring
shape. So, I'm going to go with Toni Storm. It wouldn't shock me if Hayter wins, but I'm gonna go with Tony Storm just for the John Madden sake.
Nah, I'm gonna say Jamie Hayter.
Okay.
I think they should just do it and get it over with, and then they can figure out what they're gonna do, like who would be the person she feuds with next.
Okay. Main event for the AEW World Championship: Jon Moxley defending against your pal and mine, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So I saw the betting odds from our friends at Bet Online that has MJF as the money favorite.
Okay, weird.
Or
not weird.
See here. Okay, it's and this thing could go any number of ways. You got MJF who's been doing this kind of, I don't know, tweener.
Mm-hmm.
He calls himself the devil, but he's had to battle the Firm. He helped Moxley. The fans are cheering him. So it's a situation where, okay, are they really going to turn MJF face, or are we in for a big old swerve? No pun intended, Swerve Strickland. And then on top of that, as I say, you now have MJF, at least right now, it seems, in a feud with Stokely Hathaway and the Firm. In fact, last week on Dynamite, we saw the video package about Stokely Hathaway, and he was talking about how they used to be friends and they came up and da-da-da-da-da. So there is a scenario in my head that I could see that could be very plausible, where Stokely and or the Firm end up costing MJF the title. Like I said, on the surface, it seems like, okay, they're going to give MJF the world title. Then again, Mox has had it for all of 2 months. And they don't hot potato, especially the world title like that. So
they just kind of did, though.
They did with Moxley and Punk, and I think
because
Tony Khan felt like I think he figured out that was a mistake.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't know how. We don't know how far they tried to book in advance, but I'm pretty sure that obviously that one little media scrum really kind of just like blew up plans that were probably set, though, or more than likely kind of penciled in for the remaining of the year. So now they're having to scramble, and now it just comes down to, can you read a room? Are you going to give the fans what they want? And is this the right time to do it? Because unfortunately, the guy that he should have fought isn't going to be showing up for this. Like, he's not going to be welcome back, all intents and purposes, right?
Right.
But you do have the guy who is probably the biggest draw of your entire company, who holds the belt.
Hold on. Breaking news. The World Trios Championships against the Elite.
Okay, so the Elite will be back.
Against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So
it does make me wonder, though, like, are they just going to, like, roll with the trios title?
We will hear. Yeah. Let's get back to Moxley and Punk, or Moxley and MJF. See, and that's where I was talking about. Right now, MJF is getting cheered. You can see the character starting to lean babyface.
Yeah, but couldn't it be like Stone Cold, like where he didn't really change anything? The fans just kept on cheering him because they just eventually just naturally started to like him.
And that's fine, but like just dastardly and.
I don't think it would matter. It would be the Ric Flair effect. It's like, yeah, he could have hit him low blow. He could have used a foreign object to win this thing. I don't think they would care.
It's very possible.
I mean, the fan over, yes, he's going to get put into the title match at WrestleMania because they will not accept anything less. And it'll be interesting because we all know the East Coast fans, they're real smart. And obviously the New York, New Jersey area is going to be even tougher. Like the Philly fans, they're going to be vocal, very vocal. So I can imagine if they're a pro MJF crowd, they wouldn't care. They just want to see him win. And do you think that's the right move for the company? Like having MJF as the winner? I know that he was doing that movie where he was playing one of the Von Erichs, apparently.
He was playing Lance.
Okay.
He's playing Lance.
Yeah, well, okay, it's not a real Von Erich, but like a Von to strike when the iron's hot. Doesn't that feel so good to say?
I don't know. Again, because I don't know if that's the way they're going to go. But I mean, and that's what makes this so good is that there are so many plausible scenarios for either man to have the title.
But,
so that's going to that's what's good about it. So,
but I want to know.
I'm thinking MJF.
But I want to know, do you think that's the move that they should make, though?
Sure. He's hot right now.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's what I said. On the surface, everything lines up for him to win the world title.
Because, I mean, they can do like a Hulk Hogan thing, AEW style, where he just, think he wins it. Doesn't win it, comes close to winning it, doesn't winning it.
They're not going to do a swerve like that.
But you don't want to string your audience along.
I mean, when Hogan pinned Bockwinkel, only have it yanked out from him.
What's lined up for him next? Because the last thing I want to see is for him to have a title run and then it be poor, not because of for the lack of him being entertaining, but just for the lack of good challengers.
We'll have to see. I mean, you got Kenny Omega coming back. He's in the ring right now with Bandito. You got W. Morrissey. You got who else was
W. Morrissey? Really? World title contender? I mean, no disrespect, but I'm just like
Why not? So.
But how come? It's all like, wouldn't you think that Keith Lee would be there before that would happen?
Yeah, you got Keith as well.
But I mean, none of those guys.
You got Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
But none of those guys have seriously been around the world title picture.
It's just all about the booking. They got to be booked. So, like I said, let's get.
I'm thinking that's why they might let Moxley retain it because they need to figure out who are going to be those opponents.
And as I've said, there are several scenarios that seem to go that way.
So you think it's going to be an issue like that with like Stokely Holloway?
It's either I'm thinking Stokely. Well, like I said, I'm picking MJF, but I could easily see where Stokely interferes and costs MJF the match.
And this doesn't cost Moxley a turn of character.
No,
he's just like an innocent bystander.
Moxley's Moxley. Anyway, that's AEW Full Gear this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. If you're in the U.S., get it on Bleacher Report, or if you're outside the United States, Fight TV, ppv.com, and elsewhere. Coming up after the break, we'll switch gears to WWE as we look at their build towards Survivor Series. That's next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Went 31 minutes, 33 minutes.
I believe.
Yeah. So, let's just get right into it. YouTube, Twitch, I gotta mute you because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So, be right back. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. We're continuing to watch All Ego Ethan Page and Bandito in the, I guess it's semifinals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. Finals will happen at Full Gear.
I was going to say, this isn't the World Cup of Wrestling, is it?
No. Got that coming up, though. Did you see that? So SmackDown's going to do a SmackDown World Cup.
Yeah, that's
with that stinking trophy that Shane McMahon won in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Probably one of the worst storylines.
Best in the world.
Like 20.
Best in the world, Shane McMahon.
2018?
Yeah, 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. It's funny that we've been doing this show long enough to remember that.
Yikes.
Like we covered that at some point.
A couple folks that you're not seeing on WWE television. Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio, both dealing with injuries. Kevin Owens suffered a sprained right MCL during a Sunday house show against Austin Theory. So sprained MCL, so he could come back, but in all likelihood not in time for Survivor Series. Which, it's sad to see that, because I could see him in the men's War Games match with Bloodline and the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, and it's always nice to have him and Sammy go against each other, because it's like a nice callback to almost every ROH match they ever had.
With Steen and Generico, yeah. So best wishes to Kevin Owens. Rey Mysterio, apparently he was seen with a walking boot on.
Dang.
Dealing with a ankle or foot injury, and he was supposed to be in that SmackDown World Cup. He has been replaced by Mustafa Ali. So best wishes to Rey Mysterio.
Have you been interested with the?
I just wasn't crazy about him in Retribution.
Retribution. Oh my gosh.
Cough. But yeah.
Talking about that, I'm pretty sure you discussed it with Eddie last week. But were you shocked that it was Mia Yim, the one that was the equalizer?
No, because the whispers had been out there.
Okay.
After her contract with Impact ended, the whispers have been out there that she was possibly going back, and this just another of Triple H bringing back the folks he likes that got cut.
It seems like he's bringing back a lot of people that the fans liked.
Yeah. So Minchin. I didn't learn that word when I was in Korea. What Doc Gals was calling her, Minchin.
Oh,
crazy in Korean. So, because Miyim is Korean.
Oh, okay.
We did see the Bloodline, we mentioned, getting confronted by the Brawling Brutes, including the returning Sheamus.
After his wedding,
and they went at it, and then here comes Drew McIntyre. So saw that on Friday night on SmackDown. As I said, that's likely setting up the men's War Games match for Survivor Series. We would have to see who the fifth person is for the Brawling Brutes and McIntyre to go up against the Bloodline.
Oh.
It won't be Kevin Owens, but we'll see who it will be.
Who's feeling oozy enough to take on those?
Who is oozy enough?
Who would you like to see be part of that match? Like, you need like a high flyer. You need it to make storyline sense. Like, what really would help put that match over for you?
You kind of need it to make storyline sense.
Yeah, for it to be like the match beyond. Man, who would fit though?
I don't know. It's
all like one. I always feel like anytime there's an issue, you just kind of insert Seth Rollins because he can be like the great equalizer, but it doesn't make any sense for him to be aligned with those people.
No, not really. By the way, this week apparently was the 10th anniversary of the Shield.
I can't believe they were together like for as long as they were, and that he's been wrestling for this long in WWE. Isn't that crazy?
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
The Shield.
Did you just
Sports Illustrated did a story on it and had all three members, including Jon Moxley.
Oh, nice.
So I assume that was our good friend Justin Barrasso. I don't know who they would have as the 5th member. We'll see. They got 2 more SmackDowns to figure it out.
Like what's Edge doing? Like, are they going to continue that storyline between them and the Judgment?
Well, and that would kind of make sense, because then you would get. That also means you get Beth Phoenix in on the women's.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see what else. SmackDown. Oh, Bray Wyatt finally interacting with someone besides himself, or Uncle Howdy.
Are you sure it's him?
No, he was interacting with LA Knight.
No, but are you sure Uncle Howdy is him?
We think so. I don't know.
Oh, okay. A lot of people are saying
A lot of people are saying, yeah, it's him. So he's going to feud with himself. But I've actually finally we saw him interact, basically headbutt LA Knight. So that was, at least there's some progress instead of him just, going in the ring and spewing his usual goofiness.
Well, it seems, though, that would be considered like a pretty high-profile spot, though, on the card, considering he's hot. Like, he's a hot commodity coming back, and LA Knight kind of giving, again, what the fans want.
Yeah.
Putting him in a serious feud with one of the headlining guys that, there's been a lot of hype built around him. They built shows just around promos for him. So I'm just all like, oh, okay, this is a good opportunity to have 2 of the best talkers go at it.
Yeah, why not? Maybe you see him wrestle. Because, we haven't seen Bray wrestle in
a couple of years.
It's been, since, I guess, WrestleMania Tampa.
Oh, yeah, the pandemic one, right?
Yeah.
And even
the one where everybody came back, but it was still in the pandemic.
Oh, okay. The
pandemic one that was. We'll see. The Viking Raiders made their return with Sarah Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Logan wearing all the paint and walking around barefoot, and so I guess we're going to see an even meaner, more dastardly Viking Raiders.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Did you feel that they were kind of cartoonish at this point?
That's a good question. I don't want to say yes, because I know Ray and Sarah, they do that in real life.
Oh yeah, but there's a difference in
But there is a little bit of cartoon,
Well, and that's why when they
came out and beat up, who was it? Was it Los Lotharios? And I forget. Anyway, we'll see what develops out of that. So, Shotzi won the 6-pack challenge on SmackDown, so she will face Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title at Survivor Series.
She follows me on Twitter.
Who, Shotzi?
Yes.
All right.
Super random. Was not expecting that.
She's cool.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that since they brought her back that, she's getting a push.
Yeah. Got the tank back.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the tank helps, right?
Yeah. So go to Monday night on Raw. Austin Theory's mad now. He lost the briefcase. Now he's mad.
I like that though.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting turn for him.
He's got the beard.
Yeah, he's growing out the beard, so he's being mad and mean and dastardly
But we just talked about it just moments ago. It's like the Shield's anniversary is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That means Seth Rollins has been doing this for a while, and you're going to need other guys to step in and help kind of fill out the card and take those ranks essentially at some point.
So I have YouTube TV as my cable, for lack of a better term, cable provider, and they now have the Fight Network, which is Anthem's channel. When they bought Access TV, And Fight Network, among other things, shows repeats of Impact Wrestling. And they also show the old Ring of Honor shows from Access TV's predecessor, HDNet.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there was a match. What was it? Bryan Danielson against Tyler Black.
Oh, yeah.
When Tyler Black was Ring of Honor World Champion.
Oh, man, I bet you that was a good one.
Yeah, so.
But, I mean.
Long before he was Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, these guys have been doing it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So, a guy like Theory, it's like, I'm glad to see that they're not just tossing him aside, even though.
We could see something out of it, so. What else?
But wouldn't you say chasing after the U.S. belt is basically like the main title on Raw?
Well, yeah, because you got Roman with both belts, and you're not. It's
So I mean, for the lack of the better term, he's not. He's like at the top of the card.
Yeah.
Is Austin Theory?
So he's I mean, well, Seth Rollins would be at the top of the card since he's the champion.
Yes, but I mean, like he's in the main event.
Right.
Or he's in that main event picture because he's chasing the U.S. title. And ultimately,
and we'll see if that's the match they make for Survivor Series.
But ultimately, aren't you kind of in a real roundabout way happy that it like the Intercontinental belt and the U.S. belt like really have been featured?
Yes.
And now it makes it seem like, okay, now since Roman has both titles, these titles really do mean something.
After so long being buried, Triple H has made a concerted effort to bring both the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. Championship back to prominence. And we've seen with the video packages and the history and the lineages and so on and so forth. And it's good because, again, when you have Roman Reigns with both world titles and he, for all intents and purposes, only on SmackDown and only occasionally, you got to have something. I mean, it was the same. It's the problem they had when Brock Lesnar was world champ, and he was a part-timer. So,
but it works.
It works. Well, it works now because you don't have Vince burying your secondary titles.
But I'm like, but like this is how it should work. And now this is where I'm like, okay, see, it's like it's okay for Roman Reigns to hold both titles.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it makes it even more special when he does appear because like the world title match is going to happen. Or
well, I think they're still going to split those titles back.
You think so?
And I'm still subscribing to the theory I have at WrestleMania, where he defends the Universal title against The Rock one night, keeps that, defends the world title against Cody on the second night and loses it.
Wow, they would make the Tribal Chief work 2 nights in a row?
2 title matches.
I don't know, man. I mean, especially with the talk of like Stone Cold being offered another match.
Ric Flair did it 6 days a week as world champion.
Yeah, but that was back then, and like, yes, but
they're not exactly doing high flying stuff.
Oh no, he is.
He's doing some, but it's not. He's
I mean, like, I wouldn't want to do what Roman Reigns does.
It's not what what we see in New Japan. So yeah.
Anyway,
that's what I'm subscribing to. Again, WrestleMania this April, so good change. The women's War Game match seems to be about 90% filled. We have Damage Control with Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, along with Nikki Cross, who may or may not be with Damage Control, and now Rhea Ripley from the Judgment Day against Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim now from the OC, and somebody. And that's where you mentioned Edge, and thinking Beth Phoenix comes back to get revenge on Rhea Ripley.
Oh, and it's part of this women's match?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
But I figured that, that would solve one issue that they had, but like it wouldn't solve the whole Judgment Day versus Edge drama because
no. That's just one issue. Yeah, they're still going to work on Judgment Day versus like the OC or whatever. I could see that drawn out till at least Royal Rumble.
Oh,
if not until WrestleMania.
And it should.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another match that was made for Survivor Series Speaking of Judgment Day versus the OC, AJ Styles and Finn Balor. So 2 former leaders of the Bullet Club squaring off.
I was really hoping that Finn was going to win the title.
Win the U.S. title?
Oh, yeah. They had a good match.
They had a great match. But, yeah, it wasn't time yet to take the title off of Seth. Besides, it looks like they may be holding that for Austin Theory.
Haven't you been enjoying the fact that the commentary is now, like, referencing pretty much everything? Like, they don't leave out a lot of the history.
Yeah, apparently during the Crown Jewel, Michael Cole not only mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling, he mentioned the never openweight title that Carl Anderson still holds.
Yep.
Craziness.
I mean,
such craziness.
But like, he's really gone into like the history of the wrestler, the person.
Yeah.
And he's been making references, and that's why I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he even they had the big reference between like, oh, these guys were like in New Japan, and they both led the faction.
I think he even said Bullet Club.
Yeah, I think he said it at least once.
Good Lord.
And I'm just like, wow. So they're acknowledging all this.
Where are we now?
But that's good though. I mean, it makes those fans that didn't know, catch up.
I agree wholeheartedly. You can, I mean, besides WWE.
But I will say, though.
So, you can't.
I always wondered how Vince booked, though, like what he really saw in his mind. Because in some cases, though, I always felt that he booked for, like, brand new fans.
Well, there was talk that he forget. And that's why we saw so many, like, rematches.
Okay.
He would forget what he did from week to week.
Well, what I mean, though, is like, as a kid, like, he did a really good job bringing in wrestlers that may have come from other places, but like, I didn't know.
But they pretended like they found them off the street or something.
Oh yeah. Like, but I mean, as a kid back then, it's like I didn't know. Like, they did such a good job of not referencing any of their other stuff that I could never guess.
Speaking of events, Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer, Live Wrestling Observer Radio, he's reporting that the 2-hour documentary titled "The 9 Lives of Vince McMahon" will air on December 13th on Vice, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Man, this has been just like Veer Mahan coming to Raw.
Kidding.
Is it like going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
But apparently it's going to air then. HBO Real Sports is also working on a piece on Vince that will air on that program at a later date.
That's cool.
So yeah. Also, we are in Austin. We are in the home of South by Southwest, and they have speakers coming in, the digital part, or media, whatever they call it. Couple speakers of sporting interest. One of them having to do with the name, image, and likeness thing. For Longhorn fans, it will feature none other than the Longhorns junior running back Bijan Robinson of the Bijan Mustardson. One of the best running backs in the country right now. Plus Triple H.
Oh yeah, Triple H.
Triple H is coming in to South by Southwest, so that should be interesting. I'm sure we'll hear more about that as we get closer to mid-March. So, one other thing. The Undertaker. Undertaker's got this one dead man show that he's done a few times. Well, he's bringing that to San Antonio. It will be at the Techport Arena in San Antonio on Friday, January 27th. That's the Friday before Royal Rumble. Tickets are available now. I might have to see if we
That's my question. Like,
we can't get Undertaker on the show.
Oh, I was going to ask if you're going to the show.
Oh, no.
And because I like Techport Arena is like on the other side of San Antonio. Yeah.
But I'd like to try and get him on the show. I think he's still local. I don't know if he still is in Austin, but I think he's still like in the listening area for the Horn. So it'd be really cool. We may have to see about that.
I mean, like, what, you're going to hire like a private investigator and like
I'll just reach out to WWE, see if I can get it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to send like a carrier pigeon or I'm like, does he still do Undertaker like things? Like, you're supposed to send it like in a casket and float it out to sea or something.
By the way, we've been watching AEW Dynamite, Tony Storm and Anna JAS. It was supposed to be the Bunny, however, the Bunny is ill, so Anna JAS taking her spot, and it looks like Tony Storm's about to win this match. Yep, And she taps. And it's over. So, Toni Storm victorious. So, Anna JAS will not be getting a title shot. Anyway, as I mentioned, we will be on the air next Wednesday. However, I'd have to look at the schedule again. I think it's a matter of there's basketball on Monday. So the Horn airs Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis on Monday nights. His show is being pushed to Wednesday night. And because it runs 2 hours, everything else on Monday night is getting pushed 2 hours, which means our show won't air until like 11 p.m. on Thanksgiving Eve. So it is technically a radio show week, but it's going to be pretty much a podcast week. So, but we will preview Survivor Series next week.
Shoot, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time for Glenn. I mean, the World Cup starts on Monday.
Yeah, no kidding. So, by the way, did you see, going back to AEW, they're going to London in 2023.
That's cool.
That'll be really cool. Big Shotty Lee Johnson, now part of the firm. Or not, that's Lee Moriarty, excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, we'll preview Survivor Series next week. Coming up next, we'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling around the area. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. I almost got an old habit. And you're listening to the Horn. No, you're not listening to the Horn. We're not on the Horn this week.
Yeah.
It's Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks Friday night on Rampage in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. So,
I mean, it's good that Lance is back.
Yeah.
I've seen him having some pretty decent matches, but I mean, like Ricky Starks really should win.
Well, he's about to head back to Japan.
Oh, okay, as long as he's still got some work going on.
Because he's going to be in the World Tag League, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. Okay, I think we're getting the rundown. So, see if there's any matches we missed. Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose. They've already talked about the world title, interim women's world title, tag titles, TBS title. Sting, Darby Allin, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett. Britt Baker versus Saraya. Here we go. TNT Championship. Samoa Joe, Wardlow, and Powerhouse Hobbs in a triple threat. Steel cage match. Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on Luchasaurus. Death Triangle taking on the Elite for the World Trios Championships. The Elite's getting them back. So, anyway, let's do one more. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. I hope Adam Cole comes back. Apparently he's doing. They do this game video, I guess, on Twitch or something, and it's him, Claudio, Tyler Breeze, and Xavier Woods. But they play like some. I think it's Uno. Maybe they're playing Uno and streaming it. So. But hopefully we will see Adam Cole back on our TV screens in an AEW ring really soon. We got some independent wrestling to tell you about. We will start in Sherman. Texoma Pro Wrestling presents Giving Thanks Friday night at the Sherman Elks Lodge in Sherman. Bell time 8 p.m. Central. D'Lo Brown will be there. Shane Taylor, Tim Storm, Franco D'Angelo, and more. That's Texoma Pro Wrestling Friday night in Sherman. DFW All Pro Wrestling presents Training is Forever, their 6th year anniversary, Friday at the Haltom City Theater in Haltom City. Bell time 8 p.m. Central. Lou Gotti, Barrett Brown, Killer Kate, Izzy James, and more. That's DFW All Pro Wrestling Friday night in Haltom City. Hurricane Pro Wrestling presents Glory and Pain Saturday at Ford Park in Beaumont. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Chandler Hopkins, Edge Stone, Ryan Davidson, Danny B, and more. That's Hurricane Pro Wrestling Saturday night in Beaumont. Metroplex Wrestling presents No Turning Back Saturday at the MPX Event Center in Bedford. Bell time 7:30 p.m. Central. Madman Fulton from Impact Wrestling will be there. Brick Savage, JD Griffey, Exodus Prime, and more. That's Metroplex Wrestling this Saturday in Bedford. And then Uncanny Attractions presents Drags and Dropkicks, combined wrestling show and drag show. Sunday at the Mohawk right here in Austin on Red River. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Sonny Kiss from AEW will be there. Brian Keith, Holiday, Kylan King will be there, and more. That's Uncanny Attractions, Drags, and Dropkicks this Sunday right here in the ATX. And that's a look at independent wrestling around the area, wherever you may be. Go out and support independent wrestling. By the way, Inspire AD just announced free event Sunday, December 4th. Bastards Don't Get Christmas Presents 2. The site of the rebirth of Inspire. The Yellow Jacket Social Club on East 5th Street. Some great matches lined up. I'll be there alongside Kenny Cross, to do the commentary. So hope you'll check that out. We'll talk more about that as that event.
It's going to be cold that day.
We think
more than likely
could be. Last year it was actually a really nice day. And like I said, that was the rebirth. That was Inspire's first event back since the pandemic started. So it'd be great to revisit the Yellow Jacket Social Club. We had NWA Hard Times 3 this past weekend, and the 10 pounds of gold is around a new waist, or at least on somebody else's shoulder. Tyrus defeating Trevor Murdoch, the former champion, and Matt Cardona. He is now the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That has been met with some criticisms online, as you might expect. I think at least a sizable part of that is simply because Tyrus is also a panelist on. Only because I flipped past it late nights. Gutfield on Fox News.
Oh yeah, we all know he was on there with the belt.
Yeah, he's on there. He's been on there with the TV title. Now he's on there with the 10 pounds of gold. So I guess Billy Corgan thinks maybe he'll get some, NWA will get some eyes off of that. I don't know.
Definitely. I mean, that's what I would imagine he had to be booking for.
Yeah,
it's just like, hey, we need more views. We have a big. But Fox News has a good following.
I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like they're in a weird spot. They when they relaunched, they did a really good job of kind of like right place, right time, and everybody was enamored. I mean, Cody stopped by there, right?
Oh yeah. Cody won the belt from Nick Aldis at All In.
Yeah, I mean, but
I was there.
But like Aldis, his run with the NWA title was really good. I mean, before Josephus died, he was having like a really good run, and it looked like it was going to be really promising. They had Ricky Starks, they had all these other they had Thunder Rosa,
and that's the thing. There's been some. I mean, we talked about last week Nick Aldis leaving the NWA.
Oh, that's why he wasn't at the event.
It was just because the week prior to that, I had the interview with Nick. And I asked him about being the face of the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that for a second. And now, all of a sudden, he's out. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. It's
like, has the ship already sunk? Is it sinking and will sink? Kerry Morton just ended up winning the junior title.
Yeah, junior heavyweight title.
And it's like, I understand that, the Morton name carries an aura about it with wrestling fans,
right?
But it really is Southern wrestling fans. And then it's like, how many do you need to support your product?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how much money he's making or losing off of this, right?
I don't know. Major League Wrestling announced Tom and Mark Billington, the nephews of the late Dynamite Kid. They have signed a multi-year deal with Major League Wrestling. They are going to be at the MLW event January 7th in Philadelphia.
Now, what's going on with Major League Wrestling? I haven't seen a whole lot of posts from them lately.
I'll be honest, I haven't followed them that close. I know Alex Hammerstone's still the world
he really?
heavyweight champion.
Because I thought he lost it, and that means he would have got it.
He still got it. I don't know much past that. I know the Von Erichs are still part of them.
Because do they have a TV deal with BN?
I think they're still with BN Sport.
Okay.
They also stream on something called Pro Wrestling TV.
Okay.
But I'll be honest, I am not as well versed as I should be on Major League Wrestling. So, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they've announced that their World Tag League and Super Junior Tag League tournaments will start on Monday, this coming Monday. Both tournaments will run concurrently. They will conclude with the finals for both tournaments on Wednesday, December 14th. Teams for the World Tag League, you got Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano. You got Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. From LIJ, Tetsuya Naito and Sonata. Great Okan and Aaron Henare from United Empire. You have Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, also from United Empire. TMDK, Mikey Nichols, Shane Haste. Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer, representing Suzuki-gun. Balak Fale and Chase Owens, representing Bullet Club. And then Evil and Yujiro Takahashi from House of Torture. Super Junior Tag League, you got Ryusuke Taguchi and Clark Connors. You got Kushida and Kevin Knight. Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles. Yo and Leo Rush representing Chaos. Alex Zane and L. Lindemann. Bushi and Teton representing LIJ. TJP and Akira. Kanemaru and Duki from Suzuki-gun. Ace Austin and Chris Bay from Bullet Club, also from Impact Wrestling. And Sho and Dick Togo from House of Torture. So, as I said, both those tournaments will kick off this Monday. And we will see what happens going forward. Football this weekend. It will start Friday night as the second round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs commence. Lake Travis faces Cibolo Steel, the team that beat them in week 2. That game will take place at the Field in Pflugerville. Kickoff or pregame 7:15, kickoff 7:30 p.m. Central. Mark Honig, Bucky Godbolt in the booth, and I will be on the sidelines, and you can hear that on the Horn 104.9 FM. Vandegrift and Converse Judson will face each other in Katy. Pre-game, 7:15. Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. Merle Bertrand and the crew. And that game can be heard on 101.9 FM and AM 1260. You got LBJ taking on Port Neches Grove. That game, so Vandegrift and Converse Judson will be at Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex, the Palace on Palmer. LBJ and Port Neches Grove will take place in Katy. That game will also start with pregame at 7:15 and the kickoff at 7:30 p.m. And you can hear that on 105.3 The Bat. So that's Friday night, the second round of the playoffs. Saturday, Longhorns coming off that god-awful loss to TCU. Now they got to travel to Lawrence, Kansas to take on a somewhat hot Jayhawks team. That game will kick off at 2:30 p.m. Central. So that means pregame, 10:30 a.m. Central from Lavaca Street Bar downtown with the Horn crew. The game, you can hear that all across the Austin Radio Network, the Horn, Coke FM, and the Spanish broadcasts with my dear friend, Dr. Ruben Pizarro, on 105.3 The Bat. And then the Dallas Cowboys, again, coming off an inexplicable loss to the Green Bay Packers. They head to Minnesota to take on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. Pre-game, 2:30 p.m. Central. Kickoff, 3:25 p.m. Central. Brad Shambay, Bloffenberg. And you hear that on the horn. Should be a fun weekend of football. We shall see if we get some winners. That'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter and Twitch at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube and Twitch most Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central. You can also catch us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship radio station for University of Texas Athletics and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime on demand by either going to hornfm.com and click on the on-air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us while you're there. For Justin, I'm Stu. Have a great week. Thank you so much for giving this part of your time, and we will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
All right. Meanwhile, MJF, after fighting off the Firm, he's in the ring with Moxley. Moxley saying Fulgi, he will reach and pull out, I guess, whatever heart he's got, MJF has. Says the train wheels come off. And you got Regal with the, I think, wearing the Nux. Interesting. Oh, we're right at sign off. It's 9 o'clock. So, getting the end. All right. Eddie Kingston Ortiz against Akiyama and Konosuke Takeshita from DDT Pro. Dude, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun match. All right. Well.
Okay, so it ends cordially. Got it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's, I still wonder if we're going to get, if they're going to go full on, with him in this, at least a tweener role, or is he going to go dastardly? We shall see.
It should be dastardly.
We shall see. It's kind of, the fans want him to be a face.
I mean, he could still be a dastardly face. I mean, Eddie Guerrero lied, cheated, and stole. That was his gimmick, and he was a face.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So we'll do a video stream next Tuesday night and record for radio and podcast. Week of Thanksgiving. Looking forward to the spread at Jury World Thanksgiving Day.
Ooh,
Cowboys and Giants. It's always really good. So, all right. Well, we're going to sign off now. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Enjoy Full Gear. We'll recap it and preview Survivor Series next week. But for now, for Justin, I'm Stu. Thanks for joining us. We'll